Okay, I'm going to go through yesterday's assignment and try to explain some of the problems that we didn't do together so that maybe you can have a better understanding. Feel free to fast forward to any particular problem that you need. So if you didn't have any trouble with say number one, feel free to move forward in the video. Another thing I want to comment on is you guys are not, some of you are not grading your assignments. All you're doing is marking it wrong. Remember, you must correct it. You must write down what the correct answer is. It's not going to help you if you don't have written down what the correct answer is. Okay? So I had started this and my connection got messed up, so I just start over. And so what I want you to see in these problems, some of you said you had trouble identifying what your unknown was. So a big clue for what your unknowns are is going to be in what it asks you to find or in the question that it's asking. So in this particular problem, it says find her height at birth. We don't know Barbara's height. That's our unknown. Now, to set up the equation, we want to look for number one, some totals. Well, we know Barbara is a total of 142 centimeters. So that's what it's going to be equal to. And then all we're doing is looking for some sentences or words to translate. When it says this is, it's referring to the 142. This is equal to 2 less than 3 times her height. And there's those translating words just like we learned before. I do think that one's a little bit easy. Okay, let's look at number 2. So I'm not going to read it out loud. You can do that, but I'm going to go straight to what it's telling us to find. It says find the regular price. Okay, so that means that R equals the regular price. Okay, now it says it's on sale, a bicycle is on sale at 12 more than half the regular price, and it says that the sale price is 75, equals 75. 12 more than half the regular price. 12 plus 1/2 R. Straight translating right there. Word for word, picking out the words and translating. Okay, most of us did number 3 together, number 4 together, and number 5 together. So I'm going to move on past those. Okay, number 6 gave a lot of people trouble, and then it was a little difficult based on how it was worded. So first of all, it says, how old are they now? Okay, so that's cluing us in what our unknowns are. We do not know Mark's age, and we do not know the sister's age. Okay, now we talked about that when we have two different unknowns, we need to try to make one of them X, just the single variable. Well, if it says Mark is 11 years older than his sister, you would most likely say Mark was X plus 11, which means that the sister would be your X. Okay, so then it says in 8 years, he will be, so this is like saying he will be equal to twice as old as she is. Okay, so in 8 years, so think about it, how do you show 8 years from now? If you're 13, 8 years from now, you're going to be 21. So you add 8 to that. So if Mark is X plus 11, if he is, that's how old he is, in another 8 years plus another 8 years, he will be equal to twice the sister. Okay? Okay, number 7. Again, I'm looking for the question. How many calories are in each? So right there, it tells us that we don't know the calories in sugar dud, and we don't know the calories in, what was it, crunchy crumb. Crunchy crumb. Oops, okay. So let's see. It says a sugar dud has 30 less than twice as many calories as crunchy crumb. So just looking at that sentence, you would probably translate sugar dud, when it says sugar dud sugar dud is equal to 2x minus 30. You would translate it like that, which means crunchy crumb is x. Okay, so now it says if 5 sugar duds have the same number, so same as, so basically this is saying that sugar duds is equal to crunchy crumbs. That's what that is saying, okay? But we're talking about 5 sugar duds. So 5 times 2x minus 30 is the same as 8 crunchy crumbs. So 8 times x. Okay, let's look at the next one. Number 8. Find the length of the longest side. Now this time we're talking about a triangle. And it talks about the first side, the second side, and the third side. So even though we're only trying to find the length of the longest side, I still don't know what the first side is, or the second side, or the third side. Okay, now let's look at how it described it. It says the first side is 3 shorter than the second. Okay, so if you might say that is 3 shorter than the second, you might say is x minus 3. So that means x has to be your second side. And then it says the third side is twice as long as the first side. Well, if the first side is x minus 3, 2 times x minus 3. Okay, then we're talking about perimeter. It says the perimeter is 71, so our equation would be equal to 71. Perimeter is adding up all the sides, so all I have to do now is take each side and show it being added together. And boom, I can solve my equation. Okay, let's look at number 9. The question says, how many kilometers did Bill run? So right there, we don't know Bill's kilometers. Okay, but we also have Mike. We don't know how far Mike ran. And we also have Pete. So we have 3 unknowns here. It says, in a week, Mike ran 8 farther than Bill. Okay, well right there, 8 farther than Bill might be B plus 8, which means that Bill is B. Pete ran 1 less than 3 times Bill. Well, Bill is B. 1 less than 3 times Bill would be 3B minus 1. Okay. Now it says if Pete ran 15 kilometers farther than Mike, how many kilometers did Bill run? Okay, so if Pete ran 15 farther than Mike, so Pete, 3B minus 1, is equal to Mike plus 15. So B plus 8, Mike plus 15. And there's your equation. Okay, the next one, number 10, the larger of 2 integers. It says find the integers. So we have 2 integers, the first integer and the second integer. Okay, now this is consecutive integers, not consecutive odd or consecutive even. So the first integer might be x, and if we're just going right to the next integer, it would be x plus 1. Okay, so it's just like saying we're going from 2 to 3. Okay, they don't have to be odd or they don't have to be even. So based on this, the larger of the 2 integers would be the second one, x plus 1. So x plus 1 is equals 7 greater than twice the smaller. The smaller is x, so 7 greater than twice the smaller. So again, we're just looking for these words, and we're just translating. That's why the translating was so important in our unit before. Okay, number 11 says, find the perimeter of each figure. Okay, if we're going to find the perimeter of each figure, then we need to know the side lengths, right? So we need to know the side length of the square, which is all the same, right? We need to know the length of the rectangle, and we need to know the width of the rectangle. Okay? So it says the length of the rectangle is 4 centimeters less than twice the side of the square. Okay, that's a lot, right? Okay, the side of the square is x. 4 less than twice the side. Okay, now that's easy. 4 less than twice the side. 2x minus 4. The width is 6 less than the side of the square. So x minus 6. Okay, now we've got everything defined. And it says they have the same perimeter, which means that the perimeter of the square is equal to the perimeter of the rectangle. So we've got to write some perimeter formulas here. If we have a square and all the sides are x, we're just adding up all the sides or doing 4 times x. And then remember, for our rectangle, we have 2 lengths and 2 widths. So 2 times 2x minus 4 plus 2 times x minus 6. Now, when you solve this, the direction said find the perimeter. So once you get what x is, plug it back in to determine what the actual perimeter is. Okay, I hope talking you through some of those problems helped, just to kind of see where I'm getting those numbers. And I just cannot stress enough how important it is to correct your paper.